Halloween
Forever.
Steven, my boy.
Hello, Brian.
How is it going? How's it going?
It's going good.
I used another can of WD-40 to get my computer up and running, but she fired. A little black smoke came out of the USB port, but it's up and running, and we're back in business. And not only are we back in business, Steven, I got one for you. Are you prepared for one?
I am prepared for one.
Okay, I'll keep it to one. Steve, did you hear about that old cowboy beaver story that was floating around there on the internet? About that beaver that was also a cowboy. Did you hear about that?
Yo, cowboy beaver.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I don't know it. Not off the top of my head.
I do appreciate watching the proverbial, gears turn in your head as you try to get what stupid fucking pun I'm about to say. Yeah, his name, Clint Eastwood.
God damn it.
Welcome. I choked on how fucking terrible that one was. Welcome, boils and ghouls, to I guess technically a punishment episode, right? Accurate?
Yes.
of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve. I went through like a whole bunch of cowboy names, and like I was like, well, is it Wyatt Earp? What's the pun on Wyatt Earp? I don't know. What's the pun on Doc Holliday? What's the pun on Bass Reeves? I'm not getting any of them. I was thinking for a second, Annie Oakley, because oak and wood. But
that would have been a good guess. Nope. Way stupider than all of that. You're overthinking it, my friend. Before we go any further, look, I must acknowledge we have two more voices on the line here with us and faces in the Discord. Welcome back. And my official first time meeting our friends from the Gravetone podcast, Megan and Arthur. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hey guys, thanks for having us again.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
We appreciate it, and thanks for waiting for me to be unprofessional and get my piece of shit computer to fire up. And a normal update that would take a normal human computer couldn't be more than 45 seconds. Takes 30 minutes on this ancient piece of shit. So, but we're glad that we're rolling, we're recording, we're podcasting. We appreciate you joining us here. Now, we've had a hell of a couple of weeks here. I think in terms of the history of this show, which, Steve, how long's it been now? It's been over six years, something like that. How long's it been? I forget.
I think it's creeping up on 6 years now, this year.
Almost 6 years. I don't think that we've had two back-to-back episodes with so many problems. I was sick as a dog, first of all, last time when we did the showdown episode. Luckily, Megan and Arthur were able to join, and then there was 3 people, and that made it doable for us. Steve, remind me, what was the showdown topic for March that I missed? Oh, I remember what it is.
Yeah, you remember. It was Larry Fest that you missed out.
It was Larry Fest. I missed the Larry Fest. Let's miss the first. I have to assume the first of many future Larry Fests. And Steve, you did not represent the show well, as far as I hear.
Fuck you.
You had this boring ass movie. You got your ass handed to you. But yeah. So whose responsibility was this punishment?
Oh, this was all Arthur. I'm just going to throw you fully under the bus.
What do you mean? It's great.
For the original suggestion of what was initially supposed to be the punishment film.
Okay, fine.
For this
week, right.
Which, by the way, we wound up finding and watching. I have now, even though I won the showdown, I have watched 2 terrible fucking movies
They're
That
good.
have
is
found
that is
myself in this
unjust. That is the definition of unjust. You win, but somehow have to tolerate not one but two punishments.
I feel like I'm getting extra punished just
I don't
for
know what you're
picking a
talking
good
about.
movie for
They're
the
good.
showdown, and that feels unfair to me.
Yeah. This is a second time watch for me. And excited to talk about it because we haven't talked about it yet on this here show. We are going to talk about film from way back in the year of our Lord 2014. We're going to talk about Zombeavers today. So excited to jump down that path here. But of course, at the top of the show, we got to do some stuff before we get into all that nonsense. First of all, is anyone out there on the Discord, namely Megan, Arthur, Steven, are you slurping on any kind of wet ones out there on this fine Friday evening?
We are, because it's been a week.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we felt like keeping things on theme. So, in that spirit, we both have a microbrewery from our neck of the woods called Le Castor, which is just beaver in French.
Ah,
Yeah.
So, we're keeping it specific. So, I don't know what kind you have. What is that one?
One is okay. I'm not a beer expert.
Go for
One
it.
is a lager amber,
Oh, like that. Okay.
and the other one
This
is
one's
a
a blonde. It's a blonde. It's a lime.
a
lime
zesty
pilsner.
blonde.
a little lime situation there.
Yeah.
How's it drinking for you?
You know what? It's not too bad so far. This is a first time for, I think, both of us. I don't think we've ever tried this microbrewery before, have we?
Mm-hmm. They're great.
Okay.
Pretty good.
I love it.
Well, coincidentally, I am sipping on a brewery that I have had their beer before, but this is the first time I've had this particular beer. I was down in beautiful Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky, and a bunch of other areas in the bluegrass state for work a couple of weeks ago, and I grabbed me some beer and brought it back. And the one that I am drinking on right now is from a brewery that some of you might be familiar with because they do distribute fairly widely, Against the Grain
Yes.
Brewing. And they have a beer here called Derby City Pills. So this is Louisville, of course, the home of the Kentucky Derby and closely associated with horse racing, which I could not give a shit about. But I do like me a little crispy boy pills, so I'm sipping on this. And prognosis is fantastically mediocre, right down the middle. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing particularly special about it. It is, just kind of a little crisp, lightly hopped, not particularly characterful overall, but also, pretty clean. No, like enormous glaring flaws. Besides the fact the head retention kind of stinks, but otherwise, perfectly serviceable. I think I would call this kind of more of an American style pills with some German influence, perhaps. Steven, what are you slurping on over there?
I am slurping on something that kind of lands in between both Le Castor and your Kentucky. I'm going to call it a common, even though it's not, but it just sounds like it's common ass lager.
Yeah, it is common in more ways than one, sure.
But I landed somewhere in between from Voodoo Brewing Company up here in the Western Pennsylvania area. This is their Pig People Pills.
Oh, we both got pillsies.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of some sick art on there.
Yeah, so it's
Nice.
so I do have, it's a pills like Brian, but it has the human animal type flair as Zombeavers does.
Mhm.
So I'm a little
Of
I'm a
course.
little on brand with the movie this time.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I think you would like this one, Brian, because it's, again, probably middle of the road as a Pilsner, but it is a dry hopped Pilsner. So it
Okay.
has a bit of a, just like, it tastes pretty close to like a pseudo Sue almost in that, like,
Okay.
like,
A little more aggressively hopped.
yeah, it's far more aggressively hopped than any regular Pilsner would be. But you don't taste any like flaws of the Pilsner. So
Okay. All right. I will say I had a sunshine pills from Trogs before this because I was holding on to this beer because this is the last one of 6-pack for the show because I hadn't drank it yet. But I will say having it back to back with Trogs sunshine pills does show its just general inadequacy. But I did not save the best for last in this instance. However, we shall press on. We will persist. Okay, one other thing we got to do at the top of the show here. We got to announce our showdown topic for the upcoming month of April. For those of you who recall, way back in the first episode, right after that showdown, which I guess was several weeks back now. I think I'm getting my weeks mixed up. I've been traveling every week for like the last 6 weeks, so my brain is just fucking mush, and my weeks are all blending together. But I do recall what the 3 potential showdown topics are. And if you're asking yourself, what the hell's a showdown topic? What's a showdown? Well, cool your fucking jets. I'm about to tell you. Here's how it works. Every Monday, we deliver you some slippery, sticky, sweet content on the internet. And you might say to yourself, how can something be slippery and sticky at the same time? Well, you hold on. We're going to show you. Every Monday, we deliver some tasty content to you on the internet. The first Monday of every month, we do what's called a showdown episode. That's where me, Steve, and our guest, or potentially our collective Patreon community, pick a movie associated with that topic. We get that topic from a spinny ass wheel that we have been collecting topics on for years now. We spin it 3 times. We get 3 potential topics, put it out there on the social medias for our friends and listeners to vote on. Our April potential topics were, and let me kind of recap here. We have horror on the battlefield. Now, this was something that just randomly came up on the wheel, so I don't want to suggest that with the current status of people attacking each other in the world. This was not making light of that. This was solely coincidental. But horror on the battlefield, we got featuring Lance Hendrickson, and then last but certainly not least, the best of Vincent Price was the last one on there. So, Stephen, why don't you tell the boys and ghouls at home what our April showdown topic is going to be?
Yeah, so strangely, through all the voting platforms that we have across Instagram, Discord, Threads, the bastard child of them all, it was split. And
oh yeah,
I thought it was going to be split between Lance Henriksen and Vincent Price. That seemed like what a normal vote was going to be.
Sure.
It was split between Battlefield and Vincent Price. And
really?
Yeah. I
would have thought Lance Hendrickson was going to be the runaway.
This is the one I voted for. I don't know.
Yeah.
He got like dick all votes. He got single digit votes against
goddamn plebes out there. Lance Hendrickson, look him up. You rat fucks.
He has 800 fucking movies, you assholes. We have to start getting into some of them.
Yeah. How many versions, how many different Lance Henriksen showdowns could you have? I feel like you could have never ending.
We could have a whole year of episodes just on Lance Hendrickson.
Yes.
And I welcome it. But you guys had the opportunity and you fucking blew it, it sounds like. All right.
They fucking blew it, but they didn't blow it so hard that we had to talk war while we start a war, like fucking jagoffs. We didn't have to do that.
That would have been a real shit ass move, I feel like.
Yeah, that's the wheel cursing us in some way.
Listen, you're rubes, but at least you have a little bit of decency.
Yeah, have some taste. But we will be doing Best of Vincent Price for April. And
I like that. Because
we had the 2 topics of Lance Henriksen and Vincent Price, those sounded like, kind of culty film subjects.
Yeah.
And so I reached back out to our friend at the Cultworthy podcast, Antonio, who he previously showed up on a showdown to talk about best soundtracks. He will be joining us in April to talk about the best Vincent Price film now.
Oh, that is going to be fun. I love a Vinny P. You know I do. And I'm trying to think of what we've talked about. I'll have to go back and see. I know I've probably proposed some. I know what my lead horse is going to be. but it's going to be one of those ones where it's my pick, but it's not necessarily the pick that's going to give me the best chance of winning.
Mm-hmm.
But how do I balance that with just my desire to talk about a movie that I've probably mentioned 900 times in this podcast, but never actually talked about?
Yeah.
We certainly talked about Richard Matheson quite a bit. Hint, hint. What the movie that I would probably want to talk about. But I don't know that we've actually talked about that movie.
We have not.
Okay.
I think the only Vincent Price movie that we have talked about in full was his version of The Invisible Man. And
oh, yeah, we did.
Everything else is offhanded mentions of Mask of the Red Death and Dead Heat and shit like
and
that.
House on Haunted Hill and all that stuff. Yeah, we haven't done any of that stuff. We haven't done. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we weirdly have skipped around. Old Vinny P himself. All right, well, that'll be fun for April. As of course we welcome the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We'll talk about ghouls banging on your door and trying to eat your brains.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke. That was a joke, by the way. We will not be talking about Easter or resurrection or any of that hogwash. We're going to talk about spooky ass movies like we always do. Speaking of hogwash, one more quick thing, Steven. Why don't you tell the boils and ghouls what's going on over there on the Patreon? Because we got some fun shit going on over there.
Yes, jump on patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever. You sign up for $5. You get a whole bunch of things. We got reviews and recos. You get access to the Discord. You watch episodes happen live. You get an exclusive monthly podcast. And right now, we are doing the opposite of the resurrection and the glory. We are doing the death and the murder of. Because our current Patreon series is God is Not Forever, a roadmap to killing God's dumb ass. And so
yes,
we are going through the world of cinema and finding ways in which that we can take down God once and for all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my and this might be new to you, Megan and Arthur. For the last about 4 years, my New Year's resolution come January has been to kill God. I have been unsuccessful up until now. I haven't tried that hard. And this year I said, you know what, we're really going to try. So we're trying to learn through the cinematic scope what we can learn about his weaknesses, his vulnerabilities, and how we can potentially get his ass. So we've talked about.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's a lofty goal, but it's gonna be a real coming of age tale, I think.
You gotta aim high.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Punch up. Always punch up.
Yeah,
it doesn't get more up.
Yeah, punch. I'm always punching up. Altered States was the first movie we talked about, where we talked about like manipulating reality and all those things. Then we talked about the film, the experimental art house horror Begotten, which has some pretty graphic depictions of how God may kill himself under certain circumstances. And then this month, right? March. Yeah,
this
March.
Month. Yeah, we're still in March.
We're going to be I was thinking that Begotten was March, but no. We're going to talk about the oft overlooked Takashi Miike film Izo. Izo, it's spelled. And on that movie, I'll give you a little bit of a hint here. The tactic we're gonna learn a little bit more about is just straight brute force. You watch the trailer and you're gonna understand what we're trying to accomplish there. So go over to patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever. You get the extra episodes, you get all this stuff, and then of course you could come join us as we record live in the Discord if you so choose. All right, Steven, anything else before we jump into a little zombie wildlife?
Yeah, well, why don't Arthur and Megan promote where we can find the gravestone?
Yes, please. That is the reason I asked, because I'm a terrible host. Tell those who may have not listened to the Showdown episode, tell them about the Gravestone podcast and all the cool stuff you guys got going on.
Thanks so much, guys. I mean, Gravestone podcast with Megan and Arthur here. We do kind of everything: movie reviews, books, video games that we haven't done yet, but we will soon. Interviews with movie producers, whatever. We try to watch the latest movie releases on the night of or before, and then we relate way too late at night, and that just completely kills us the next day.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can find us anywhere at Gravetone Pod, and we also have a website, gravetonepod.com. There's like a cool little movie picker there. So if you don't know what horror movie to watch, check it out.
Love it.
We made a quiz. Yay.
Yeah, it's a 4-question quiz. It's easy.
That's my kind of quiz. I like that. As horror, in video game aficionados, big news this week for horror fans / video game aficionados. New Castle motherfucking Vania game was announced. Well, actually, it might have been within the last few weeks, but I just learned about it this week. After 12 years of not having Castlevania game, sometime this year we're going to get a new one, Castlevania : Belmont's Curse.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how
Nice.
psyched y'all are about that, but I'm frothing at the. Sorry,
Yeah, well,
made
I'm
myself
not
laugh
the-
at a gross thing I was going to say.
I am not the video game aficionado of the group, so I will let you answer.
You know
that,
what?
'cause I have
We were
nothing
just
to
talking
say.
about computers just before. We need to use it for something instead
Correct.
of just being a browser.
Actually,
that is
that we were saying that,
souped
weren't we?
up
We
like
have
no
a fairly
tomorrow.
high performing computer, and we
But
don't use it.
whatever. So hey, it's gonna be for that. Thank you for letting us know.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
I also feel like I haven't heard about that at all, which is odd.
Castlevania?
Like a new game.
Oh.
I feel like I haven't seen that anywhere.
I mean, look.
Yeah, I think it was they just announced it. I think there was maybe a trailer, very little information drop. There's no release date. All of them that I'm finding online is just sometime in 2026. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
uh,
it got announced on one of the PlayStation kind of roundups of like, here's all the games coming out, because like Konami announced a whole bunch of games all at once. Of like, there's a new Silent Hill coming out, there's a new Castlevania, and so like all the properties they own, they're just like, yeah, we're making games again. We're not making pachinko machines, which is cool. Thanks.
hey, thanks, appreciate it. All right, let's get into this movie. I would love to hear a little bit from you, Arthur, on your rationale for choosing Jordan Rubin's 2014. May I go as far as to say modern masterpiece, Zombeavers.
Yeah, Arthur, give us your rationale for
Okay. Okay. So first of all, we spoke about this in the last one. I chose Dead Don't Die initially
Yes.
for the Fest.
Yes.
And I am a big zombie fan just in general. I love everything zombie. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a genre that for some reason resonates with me. I don't know. It's weird. So I was like, okay, what would be a weird movie to watch that is enjoyable but not too much? That also, Meg, you haven't seen it, right?
No,
Before this?
No, we've seen it. This is our second watch through of this.
You've seen
film.
it?
Yes.
Okay, so we've seen it, and I was like, okay, well, maybe Megan hasn't seen it, whatever. And I was like, okay, but also let's give it maybe a little Canadian twist because that's where we're from. Therefore,
We're really leaning into this very
beavers.
far.
Therefore, zombies. Hello, come on, it all came together.
Yeah, this is a fun movie. This is a second time watch for me as well. This, I will say, admittedly, the first time I really like paid close attention to the like dialogue and everything. I think the first time I watched it was one of those like I throw it on the back. I'm like half paying attention. I'm like, hey, that was fun, kind of thing. Like looking up at moments of action and that sort of thing. But this is the first time I really delved into it, and I will say, a lot more laughs than I remember the first time around. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, that was fun. Fun puppets. Okay, this is good. But I laughed a lot more this time around, mostly at the quotes of like two characters, which I'm sure we'll get into here as we dive into the plot. But Steve, was this first time watch for you?
No, this was a second time watch for me as well. And
Okay.
I feel like I'm having an opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Because this movie fucking has aged like Cabin Fever for me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just everybody was so fucking annoying, and I didn't laugh as much, and I like there are still some funny bits that I laughed at, but
Yeah.
for the most part I was just like, oh my god, these fucking characters are insufferable.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I was in a good mood. I'm watching it on a Friday afternoon. I kind of like dipped out of work a couple hours early. It was a crazy week, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna sit and watch this. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. But Steve, you seem to be in a curmudgeonly mood. Perhaps the similar mood that I was in when I watched your Larry Fessenden movie, where I was just fucking annoyed the whole time, cursing your name. Until that weird ass like zombie cyborg dog popped up.
It's a little dog cow.
Like, that's cool.
It's a little dog cow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was half cow too. That was
Yeah.
That was fucked.
The whole movie made me want to cry.
Yo, seriously.
It was such an unpleasant movie. It was so unpleasant. It was so annoying. It was so frightening, and it wasn't wearing a shirt. That's what I'll say about that. In the spirit of one Mr. Glenjamin Danzig. This guy who directed this movie, I'm looking up on the Letterboxd, and I thought he had done more stuff.
He has.
Okay.
Because again,
so probably in TV or something. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm just looking at movies. So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask, because I was like, I feel like I know this guy. And then I'm looking at here and I'm like, I don't know any of this shit. He did do that Critters, a new binge from a handful of years ago that I think maybe, I don't know if we've ever talked about it. Steve, you're the resident Critters expert. But
I haven't seen the I haven't seen the TV show. I did see the newest film that had Dee Wallace come back, and I thought that was a lot of fun, but I hadn't seen the TV show that he did.
Yeah. So what's his claim to fame nowadays?
So his big claim to fame would be the fact that he was a writer, director, producer on Crank Yankers.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Now that would have been well before any of this stuff. Crank Yankers was like in the
before and after, because I don't know if you remember, but Crank Yankers did come back in 2021 for 2 seasons.
I missed that.
Boy.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came out. Megan, Arthur, are you familiar with Crank Yankers? Did that make it north of the border? Crank Yankers.
I mean, it could have, but not to our side of the world.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
it is. I do not want to overhype it as like it was some sort of cultural phenomenon that deserves to cross borders or anything. But it was essentially like a show with puppets, which I'm into immediately. But love a puppet of all varieties. It was a puppet show, but they were acting out and doing like. Basically, the voiceovers were actual live, like prank phone calls. So it was very Jerky Boys type of thing, but they were acting out, things on screen with puppets while they were like voicing the characters or the real life people. One of them would be a comedian, of course. One of them would be like the hapless victim, and it was pretty clever. And it was
interesting,
pretty exceptional puppet work. So. Something that especially from Steve, when was for late 90s,
early 2000s. So it was.
I was going to say,
it was early 2000s on Comedy Central, which is the only way you probably would have seen it. And then I don't know where it came back to, but it was it was pretty popular because it had like Tracy Morgan and Seth MacFarlane and Dane Cook. So like whoever was popular in the 2000s was like doing prank phone calls. And then I think they probably had to quit because like prank phone calls are illegal anymore. Like you're not allowed to do them. So
yeah, this was like an 80s 90s idea that they built like a show around, but it was pretty short lived, but I definitely remember watching it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, well that makes sense. That was but since then it looks that Jordan Rubin's directorial work has kind of slowed a little bit. Yeah, I'm not seeing much over the last decade.
Yeah.
But this has a great tagline too. You'll all be damned. Come on. I mean, the puns are just flowing freely. In this film, between all of the beaver. I mean, at one point we were going like 3 to 4 beaver puns per like a minute. It was just rapid fire beaver puns.
That's just great writing. That's what I say.
Okay.
So this. Oh, go ahead.
So I guess we can attribute that to the writer Al Kaplan and his brother. I think is his brother John is the other writer. Yeah, John Kaplan. And I just wanted to point them out because they wrote one of my favorite movies of 2024. Low Lives. It was a Tubi original, but it's one of my favorite films that came out of that year. It's so good. And then they also wrote Match from 2025, which I think, Brian, you said you saw.
Yeah. That's I'm still wrapping my head around one of your favorite movies was a Tubi original.
You have to watch it.
It's a wild ass statement.
It had no business being on a Tubi original. Like, I don't know.
I feel like you mentioned it before because it is ringing a bell for me. But I did not realize it was a Tubi original.
Also, Al is the writer of the Clown Cafe song in Terrifier 2 and the Terrifier Christmas song in Terrifier 3. So,
that was a masterpiece, of course, masterpiece of the genre, as far as I'm concerned, at least. The performers in this movie, we have, this is, we should say, a teen horror comedy leaning much more into comedy, so if we put it on the the grand scheme of or let's say 2 reference points, Gremlins 2 versus An American Werewolf in London. This is even, this is more Gremlins 2. This is very jokey.
Yes.
This has got a little bit of gore scenes, but even then not so much. Boobs and some blood and a lot of beaver puns, basically. So very, very much more on the jokey side of things. The group of teens, I personally did not mind. Steve, you are not a fan. I thought they all were pretty good. There was a couple that were better than others. A couple were forgettable, but I'll call out my favorite, which is Peter Gilroy as Buck. Just a silly, just a dang old goofball, just doing yuck-em-ups. I don't know how you can be mad at that. I feel like I know this guy from things. I think he was like a commercial actor too. Like, I feel like he popped up in a lot of American commercials, before this or around this time, because his face is very recognizable to me, despite the fact that I'm looking and I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
I think, he's been in just like a bunch of shit, and just to be nice about it, but like, he is in a movie from 2021 from with Kane Hodder in it called Knife Corps, and it's like Knife Corp. So I immediately thought of Night Court, the sitcom from the 80s, but people were murdered.
Nope. And Bull, the bailiff, is turns out to be the killer or whatever. Anyway,
cool premise. Make that show.
Yeah, let's make it happen, guys. Come on, start. We just throw it out in the ether. Maybe someday it'll come to fruition. He plays Buck, a lesser character, but I wanted to call him out because I really appreciated his comedic performance. We have Rachel Melvin, whom was in Dumb and Dumber 2, but also in a lot of movies, which I would describe, Stephen, as Pee Pee Poo Poo Man-esque. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm looking at the like taglines and the covers and the titles. Like, she was in a movie in 2005 called Boo, Boo.
Do I remember this one?
It's sitting at a balmy 1.9 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, that's a real pee pee poo poo man movie. Is Boo?
Yeah. And let's see, we've got Courtney Palm. She is probably more recognizable. She's popped up in some things, including Silent Night from 2012. She was in Superbad. She was in Alice in the creepy Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp in it. She was in Purge Anarchy The Purge: Anarchy, which was among the worst Purge movies ever, as far as I'm concerned. Dark Tapes. She's been in a bunch of stuff, so she's a little bit more recognizable, probably to genre fans.
Possibly. A lot of her.
I mean, not.
Well, a lot of her credits are uncredited on IMDb. Like, she is just party guest, meaning that she's just put those credits in herself. She was like, I was a party guest in The Anarchy. I was a party guest at Superbad. So maybe you don't even see her fucking face.
Oh, that's rough. Okay. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, of course I didn't recognize her because I don't recognize anybody, but I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. Lexi Atkins. Yeah. I mean, she was in Ted 2. That's about the long and short of it. So, anybody else that jumps out at you that you're like, hey, we should talk about, because there's two that are at the beginning and at the end that we'll mention, but that's about it.
Yeah. We can talk about those two, but, the other guy, the guys in the film, the one, Tommy, is played by Jake Weary, and he seems like the only one that's actually like gone on to have a career, because he was, and it seems like it mostly started recently, because he was in It Chapter 2. He plays Webby.
Okay. I was thinking he was in the background somewhere, but yeah, all right.
Yeah. He plays I think he plays a main character in a film that came out recently called How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is a strangely controversial film. It is like a Michael Mann-esque procedural about exactly that, blowing up a pipeline. And then he was in that is that, no, that's not the movie I was thinking of. Sorry, never mind. So he was
also
in The Walking Dead.
He was actually in a he had a name. His character had a name, although I couldn't tell you which character it was, but his character was Hugh in It Follows as well. So
okay.
Some significant genre credits there.
The other guy, Sam, is played by Hutch Dano, and Hutch Dano has just a shit ton of like garbage credits as well, but
sure,
he comes from royalty. Specifically, he is Royal Dano's grandson of House 2 and Killer Clowns from Outer Space fame.
No shit.
Oh,
that's fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's
I like
crazy.
that.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say it's Paul Dano's the half brother or something.
No, that's why I checked, because I was like, Paul Dano, you're gonna let your brother run around out here with your fucking last name making these bad movies? And then nope, it's Royal Dano's grandson, which we've talked about before, how Royal Dano is not related to Paul Dano.
Yeah. My preferred Dano is of course Royal, as is Quentin Tarantino, big detractor of Paul Dano. All right, so Zombeavers, movie about zombie beavers, guys, in case you haven't picked it up yet. Great little cameo at the beginning, and then it comes back at the end, where you have these two, I guess, transport drivers of illicit toxic waste. And listen, I'm not a professional. I'm not a hazmat professional, but I would say if you're transporting illicit toxic waste, maybe a flatbed truck is not the ideal transportation method. Maybe something a little bit more with a little bit more containment capacity.
Maybe something that has a top, a cover,
anything,
a something,
right? Perhaps
a containment of some sort would be helpful.
Perhaps a sturdy bit of rope. Listen, I'm not a perfectionist, but we start out with these two, and we get two gentlemen in the car. One is played by noted blowhard, and I'm not sure if I like him or not, comedian Bill Burr.
Yep.
Sometimes I see something, I'm like, that was funny, and then I see something else, and I'm like, you're like really biting Dennis Leary, aren't you? Like it feels like you're really trying to go for that Dennis Leary thing.
He's a hit and miss kind of guy.
He really is. Yeah.
But Bill Burr driving the truck, and then
this is the weirdest cameo I've ever seen.
Very
in my
strange
life.
cameo.
So weird.
We have the writer performer of Your Body is a Wonderland, and perhaps one of just the genuinely creepier individuals. Every time I look at him, I'm like, he has to date rape people, right? Like, I really feel like he's a bad guy. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, I don't know, guys. How old was he when he dated Taylor Swift? When she was probably like a child, and he was probably like 35.
I feel like this guy is a bad guy, and of course, I'm referring to Mr. John Mayer. Every time, I mean, even before anything like that came out about him and his propensity for hooking up with very young fans and all these things came out about him. I just was always like, don't cover your drink around that guy. He's sketching me out. He's of course a fantastic guitar player. But one thing was made abundantly clear to us in this movie, he is not funny.
No,
at all.
No, Bill Burr, I will say, for all of his hit and miss in comedy, Bill Burr definitely kills this scene.
Yeah. He's fun.
He's the one who carries the entire thing.
Yeah.
If it had been two John Mayers in that car, I would have stopped paying attention immediately.
Well, apparently this was his first feature film debut.
First and only, probably. I feel like
probably. I don't know.
He could not possibly have any other credits after this.
I mean, he was also literally hiding under all the makeup and the prosthetics.
He had like
he had a mustache.
Yeah,
It was a whole thing.
The realest mustache I've ever seen.
There.
Yeah, it's a Fu Manchu almost. Yeah, you can tell the joke he thinks is very funny is I'm John Mayer.
Nobody will expect that it's me.
That's the joke.
Yeah, that's the bit, I think, in that scene is that like, oh haha, John Mayer's playing this truck driver at the beginning, but until you look it up and know that, because no offense to John Mayer, but his face isn't all that recognizable just on sight immediately. And I think by 2014 it wouldn't have been either. You wouldn't know going in. I didn't realize it until I looked at the credits and I was like, John Mayer's in this movie? Who the hell does John Mayer play? And then I had to check and remember who the character was.
Yeah, I did recognize him, but I do remember even the first time I watched it going, who's he friends with? Like, you know what I mean?
Bill Burr.
Yeah, but I mean, like, then who's Bill Burr friends with? You know what I mean? Like, why are these people in this movie? Perhaps it's just friends with the director situation here.
The director,
where they, do a favor.
Yeah, the director was a stand-up comedian. And so, I don't know if you all remember this, but there was that period of time when John Mayer in the 2000s and on had like a small stand-up career. Like because he was.
Did he?
What?
Yes, because he was on Chappelle's show, and then he would do like stand-up spots in New York, which is where all those guys were. Huh. And so that's why he became friends with like Chappelle and Bill Burr. And so they just kind of kept him around as like, oh, hey, it's the guy who dates Jennifer Aniston. Let's keep him around because then Jennifer Aniston will come to my shows.
It gives us credibility of some kind in there. I had no idea that this was a thing.
No, I can only imagine the just crickets at the Comedy Cellar after Dave Chappelle went up and did a 2-hour impromptu set, and then John Mayer comes up and does a tight 5, and then I break a glass and start sawing my wrist. I hate me a John Mayer. Anyway, he shows up in this right at the beginning. Again, it's this little bit where they're the truck drivers, they're not paying attention, they're negligent. The joke that is brought back at the end too is Bill Burr is driving, but he's texting on his little flip phone, and he of course isn't paying attention, and he says, "Hey, do you see that deer up there?" He's like, "Yeah, I see it." He, of course, doesn't. And then he smashes the deer with the truck. A big barrel of the toxic waste goes into a river and eventually ends up spraying some beavers, and at their dam. So that's how we figure it's a real, Return of the Living Dead type scenario here.
Poor little beavers.
Yeah,
that's who I feel bad for. Fuck all the characters in this movie. That's who I felt bad for. The cute little puppet beavers.
The puppet beavers. I love that there was all the beavers were puppets. They did a lot of practical effects with the masks and things like that. The one thing I will say, I wish there was a little less CGI blood. And, I understand they had a scenario which we'll talk about the scene, but when things kind of hit high gear, when they start getting attacked by beavers, there's a lot of shoddy CGI, but it's 2014. And I don't know, I didn't find it terrifically offensive, but so we get introduced to Zoe, Mary, and Jen. They're going on a girls' weekend. Plus, we got Zoe's got her dog with her, which is of note. We see something's going on with the beavers. A fisherman gets it at one point, but we know something's bad's going on with these beavers. The first laugh I got pretty early in the movie, like within the first 10 minutes, is when they get to it is Mary's cousin's cabin, right? Like on this little lake.
Yeah.
And the neighbor lady comes up and, hey, how are you? Introducing blah, blah, blah. And Zoe, well, I should specify, Jen is is kind of laid out as like the main protagonist, and she's been cheated on. So they're doing a little girls' retreat to make her feel better because her boyfriend cheated on her. Then we have Mary, who's kind of her, closest friend kind of thing. It does seem like she's facilitating the whole thing. And then we have Zoe, which is kind of the wild card, like the crass one, the one that's always talking about like getting drunk and fucking and stuff like that. They're talking to the neighbor lady, and Zoe's saying like, again, just like, crass, vulgar shit. And the line is, it's okay. My daughter's a total fucking bitch too. A real fucking whore.
that was hilarious.
I have to slide in here as the only woman in this particular recording at the moment. These are women written by men to a degree 100%. That feels so incredibly of its era as well. It's weird because in my brain, 2014 doesn't feel that long ago. Yeah. But socioculturally, in the way that we like write characters, I'm like, oh, okay, this is very mid 2010s, isn't it? We're just living right in that space.
Have you ever said, hey, biatch to anyone in your life?
Absolutely fucking not, because no one says that. Nobody even said that when people in movies pretended that they were saying that. That's insane. Women don't speak to each other this way.
No, you're ruining the illusion.
This movie, you're right, it's 2014, but it could have been from 2004 easily.
Yeah.
It could have been from 1999. It could have been from 2004, and I would have believed it was the same exact film the entire way through. Yeah. That's basically what it was. It was just a bunch of dudes who wrote a film and were like, yeah, this is definitely what women sound like when they go on a girls' weekend together. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
my
guys.
note, I have a note in here that just says everyone in this film is either a pussy or a bitch, and or both.
Yes.
It's just because every insult. It's like, stop being a pussy, stop being a bitch, stop being a pussy bitch. It's like, oh, all right, get a new word. Let's expand our vocabulary.
Well, the one that's just to hammer your point even further home, Megan, whenever after that Zoe says something else and then the neighbor woman says back, she's a real piece of work. She's talking about her daughter still. She's a real piece of work and not that attractive.
Yeah, there's just no circumstance that in which you would have that conversation with anyone, but particularly with complete strangers. It's insane. I mean, this entire movie immediately throws you off because I think my understanding is that these are meant to be like college age students.
Yeah, they're in a sorority.
They're played by but as usual, they're played by like 28-year-olds.
Yeah.
Very clearly people in their mid to late 20s playing like 21, 22 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the plot thickens here as they start taking their tops off within the first 15 minutes of the movie. This is the type. This is the movie, right, guys? This is what you're going to get from beginning to end. we get introduced to a character named Smith with a Y, he specifies. And one thing I will say, this movie did take about 15 minutes until we got our first beaver joke or pun.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was like, it's kind of weird that they're not doing it. But then they were off to the races. And then we got one every 5 minutes for the rest of the movie. So I gave it too much credit too soon. But again, every one of my notes is just hammering your point home, Megan. But at one point they hear these pounding noises inside and they're like, we gotta go check out what it is. They go outside and somebody is like trying to scare them. It pops up. It's some guy we learn is Tommy. He turns around and just farts at them.
What the fuck was that?
That makes no sense.
See, again,
why?
Just can all of you remember maybe when you were in your early 20s? I don't believe that you were like this. I don't think it's possible.
There's no way. Maybe you're gonna do this with like a dumb thing with your friends, whatever it is. But if there's like girls around,
a bunch of your girlfriends are there. All of your girlfriends are there.
Yeah. That's why.
Like you'd still like them to like you tomorrow, I assume, and want to have sex with you. And nothing that the guys do in this movie would make any girl want to have sex with them ever for the rest of their life.
Turns around, bends over, and farts at them.
I mean, it's the same exact behavior as Cabin Fever, though. Just the way, the way like Joey treated. What's her name? I forget her name. The actress's name is Serena Vincent's character, and then whoever the dumb guy was with his hat backwards, like everything was gay and homo and farts with him. So it's just the same stuff over and over again. So
We learn that Tommy is Mary's boyfriend, Buck is Zoe's boyfriend, and then the third guy, Sam, is the one who cheated on Jen, but they still brought him along, which is such a bold decision.
Great friends, everyone. These were really odd pairings.
Yeah.
Between people. I think it was specifically when we were watching it. I did not remember for the life of me what the couplings were, and we were watching this and I was looking at the coupling, especially Zoe and Buck, and I was like, how the fuck did this guy manage that? I don't believe that for a minute.
Well, he even calls it out in the like when they're having sex. He's like, "You're way too hot for me." And at one point, I will just flat out admit I laughed out loud when he says, "I feel like a Power Ranger."
So stupid.
It's just dumb as hell. You can tell this guy who played Buck, which we mentioned, they're just letting him kind of riff and just keeping stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is listen, he is very 2010s, but he's getting laughs. He's doing what they hired him to do.
He's probably the funnier of the characters. Nobody else really,
No, not really. Nobody else is really even
laugh-wise
doing bits, I guess.
No.
But we get introduced to our first. Well, it's Jen who sees the first actual Zombeaver in the tub. Then no one no one believes her, and she's out freaking out, even though she would think they would have heard it, because one thing I thought I did not remember from the first time I watched is the noise that the beavers make. Is insane. I can't even do it justice. It's like a screaming growl. Is the only way I could describe it, and it's aggressive. And there's no way she's literally in a room in a cabin, but they did not hear that apparently. And then Buck, of course, accuses her of being an ugly crier, which is not helping the situation.
The lines in this film are so stupid.
Tommy does assumed that he kills it with a bat, but it is in fact a zombie beaver, so it's coming back to life. Buck, everyone's all freaked out. They're trying to figure out what they should do. Like what's, okay, put it in a bag, put it out on the, in a garbage bag, put it out on the porch. Buck, because he's on a roll now, proposes a safety orgy for everyone. Again, I'm getting laughs. I'm getting lulls out of Buck. I'm a child. I'm
sense, right?
getting lulls out of Buck.
He does have my favorite line later.
But
I don't know. I feel like just the entire vibes of everything are just so annoying to me that I wasn't in the mood to laugh. I'm like, no, I can't with any of it. Like Buck is doing his best, but I feel like I'm trapped in a room with stupids and I can't have that.
Yeah.
It was a real punishment movie for you.
Yeah. No, I was in the right mood. I was laughing at Buck. I was having a good time. We do learn that Sam cheated on Jen with Mary, her best friend, or at least a friend. I don't know. I guess they don't specify that. So that's a little bit of a secret that obviously Jen doesn't know. That this is when shit hits the fan that I mentioned before. They get attacked in a lake. Buck loses a foot right off the bat, which is funny. I like the idea that he just is like reaching down. He comes up and he's just got his foot in his hand.
Yeah.
So it's a good bit. At first you don't know if it's his foot, but then when he does get out and he's missing a foot, you're like, oh no, that is definitely his foot. Because at first you're like, well, was it the fisherman's foot from earlier? Not sure.
No, he just took it off. He's like, I'm not losing that.
Yeah, just casually. And God, how long do they have that foot for? To the point that like later there's a whole thing with Smith where he's like, I mean, there's probably nothing to be done with it.
Yeah,
now.
it's like it's been like 8 hours.
You're not gonna be able to sew it back on, guys. Like you're fucked. Like it's done. You may as well throw it out.
I did appreciate that bit though, because like there's so many films are like, oh, just put it on ice and everything will be okay. And it's like, no, man, it's like it's got to be like within 30 minutes, and you know, like Smith says, it can't actually touch the ice because that's going to damage the nerves. And then you have all this microsurgery. It's like, nah, man, that foot ain't no good. Throw it away. You're just dragging that around.
There's no point. Just get the prosthetic and be done with it. Well, that's what you're living with now.
He also has it in in like a Ziploc bag,
right, yeah.
Like something you would put like leftover pasta salad in.
It's lunch meat.
But yeah, so they are all, swimming away from the beaver attack. They're on a little like floating dock out in the river. Meanwhile, Jen runs into the cabin to call the authorities, but a repeating gag is that the beavers have cut the phone lines, which is a good bit. Beavers, anything that is not like intelligent or especially an inanimate object cutting a phone line like for sinister purposes is always going to make me laugh. But Jen ends up battling one of them in the house. All the rest of them except for Jen are trapped out on this like raft, very alarmingly similar to the Raft.
Yeah.
From
they're definitely doing Creepshow 2.
Creepshow 2, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but instead of the goo coming up through the slats in the raft, it's beavers breaking up through. Tommy, in a real shitbag mood, sacrifices the dog.
Oh my God. Oh, this made me so mad. I was like, well, fuck Tommy. He can die next as far as I'm
Well, you knew his fate was sealed as soon as he sacrificed the dog. You can't kill a dog in a movie and get away with it. I just wrote Tommy definitely going to die because he uses the dog as a distraction. But the worst thing about it is how callous he is. He's like, all right, well, see you later, buddy. And just he says something. I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, says some, kind of like snide offhand comment and then throws the dog to the beavers.
Yeah. He doesn't throw it in a like go get help boy way. He throws it in a specifically, you're the food, you're the distraction. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says something to that effect, doesn't he? He says something about like it's us or the dog, basically. Like he's just a dog, it doesn't really matter. And I think that I turned to you and I was like, oh, I'd kick him off the dock into the water and be like, well, you're the distraction now.
Yeah.
He is doing his best to survive
blah, blah.
in a zombie apocalypse that you don't make emotional decisions.
It's just a little.
It was an apocalypse on the lake.
Little lake of beavers.
Yeah, it's an apocalypse on the lake.
Little babies, they're not going anywhere. They're just there.
Yeah.
They just want to make their little dam and eat people. It's fine.
Well, I have 2 dogs, and there is one that I would throw to the beavers, and there's one that I wouldn't. So I'll just be very clear about that.
Don't tell your dogs that. Jeez.
Oh, they can't speak English. I tell them that all the time. Tommy sacrifices the dog. Nobody likes him. They end up being trapped back in the house. Buck is sleeping there holding his foot in a bag like a pillow, sleeping on the couch. Zoe ends up letting the big secret out. Nobody really cares, but people are mad at each other for a while. Tommy and Zoe decide to take Buck and make a run for the car. We get our regrettably last scene with the neighbor. So the neighbor says, hey, what's going on? I hear a lot of noises over there. And her husband, who's reading the fishing magazine, says, it's just those college kids next door scissoring each other to Lady Gaga. Which is just such a silly thing for an old man reading a fishing magazine to say.
How does an old man know what scissoring is? That's my question.
That's the bit. That's the gag that got me.
Both knows what scissoring and Lady Gaga is in 2015.
Gaga,
yes.
What do you mean?
And feels like they are somehow related.
In his mind.
Yeah.
He's very cultured, okay?
Yeah. As he's reading Fisherman's Monthly or whatever.
It's the varied porn. He doesn't just watch the regular stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. He's taking suggestions. From the algorithm. So I think this is probably the line you talked about, Steve. You were saying he's got Buck's favorite line. Is this the one when they're in the car together and he's kind of fading in and out of consciousness?
Yes, when they are trying to escape and they come to a downed tree and Tommy gets out of the truck and Buck is just behind Zoe and he just leans forward up to her and says, I'm so sorry I didn't go down on you. I swear I'm gonna eat all the pussy.
Yeah, he says, I wrote it down. He said, Zoe. And he's fading in and out of consciousness. Zoe, I'm sorry I never ate your pussy. I'm going to go back and eat it all one day. Yeah. And she's like, okay, thank you.
Thanks for that.
And then he has his face pressed against the seat. He says, it just smells so bad down there. Which is just such a horrible, but also just childish thing to just write.
Yes.
I feel like that might have been an improvised line. I feel like that might have been an improvised line.
And someone decided to keep it.
Yeah.
Somebody decided to keep it. It did not end up on the 100%.
Floor. Yeah, this is 100% one of those films where they were like, just improv, just go with it, and then they cut in the takes that they liked the best. That was it.
For sure. Anyway, the beavers do beaver things. They chop down a tree, knock Tommy down. I don't know. They kill him at that point. I didn't think he was alive.
More or less.
Yeah, that was a weird death. Did you guys actually properly see that death?
No,
I felt like it almost happened off camera, and then we see him dead later. And I was like, wait, hang on, how did we get?
Yeah,
here?
it just happens off screen because it happens while Buck and Zoe are in the truck. You hear the tree come down. And then they get out and they see Tommy's underneath the tree and they just abandon him. They're like, all right, well, can't do nothing here.
She says something like, we got to go back and get him or whatever. Like he's not dead, but then we just never see him again. So
no, that's it.
Maybe he survived.
Well, we see him again. We see him again as a Zombeaver.
Oh yeah, of course. We see him until he's a zombie, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. He's
also
got
the
teeth.
tree looked very tiny.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, if that falls on your head, it's probably going to kill you. But I feel like that truck could have just went over it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
It was a plot device.
Get a good head of steam and just plow through it. Hit the gate doing 98.
They had it's true. They were in a pickup truck, weren't they? You could probably have made that work. Yeah.
Smith, comes and saves them. It's his truck. He comes out of the woods. We talked about what happened to Tommy. Meanwhile, Jen, Mary, and Sam are barricading themselves in the cabin, fighting off, beavers at the windows and whatever. The rest of the crew, which is at this point, I guess, just Buck, Zoe, and Smith, come back in the truck, but they can't get back in because everything's boarded up. Smith starts blasting them. They decide to, instead of getting back in the truck, they run to another nearby cabin, which is the neighbors from earlier. They find them dead in there. Mary, meanwhile, in the cabin is, I guess, because she has glasses, she's reading about beavers. Like she's the one that starts reading and doing research on the beavers. I don't know. So in what was, I thought, a pretty good twist. Because you think Jen is the one that's been very put upon. She's the one who's very cautious. She's the one who got cheated on, blah, blah, blah. She actually, in the middle of the night, turns into a zombie beaver human hybrid and attacks Mary. And Sam jumps in, whacks her, whatever, they escape. But I remember being a little surprised that, they set everybody up as like assholes and why they were going to die. And then Jen's the one who turns first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she definitely had like a final girl vibe, didn't she? She was the one who was like framed as oh, poor me, my boyfriend cheated on me and now I'm dealing with him being here because my friends are all garbage human beings and they brought him on the weekend away and everything, even though they know for a fact that he cheated on me.
Because everyone knew.
Poor me, and I'm the one who's first noticing that she's the first one who sees the fucking beaver in the bathtub and freaks out about it and everything. And I was just like, oh, okay, she's going to be the one who survives till the end. And I completely forgot from our first watch, 10, 12 years ago when this first came out. I'd completely forgotten what the actual plot of this film was. So I did not realize that she was a character that does not survive till the end of the movie.
Can I just say, I am glad that she didn't just become a zombie. She became a zombie beaver.
Mm-hmm. Human hybrid. It was
hybrid.
like everything together.
I think that is the best thing of this movie.
Yeah.
The prosthetic teeth were kind of fun.
They were hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, they do mention that it has something to do with Giardia or something when they're.
It is, I mean, that's just Smith telling a story to pass the time. Like, it has nothing to.
Okay, so interestingly enough, so I was looking up on some of the stuff for this movie and whatever it is. So they are talking about the Giardia lambia or whatever it's called. Apparently, it is a parasite. That used to cause I guess diarrhea and fever sometimes, but it was from the 1970s and it was wrongfully associated with beavers, hence the kind of name of beaver fever, but there was like no really specific connection to it. So it was almost a smart joke or a smart thing in this movie, probably the only thing in this movie.
Yeah, probably somebody
that was
had
smart like that.
5 minutes of research.
It would be smart if they explained it away further, because I think it's more just associated with the fact that animals fucking just shit in the lake, and that's where you get it from. You get that and hepatitis B.
That's
it. Brian, you're probably more aware of this, but like, I don't know if you ever had to go to Raccoon State Park for like scouts or anything.
No, I never went to Raccoon State Park. We did a lot of Moraine State Park out our way.
Okay, I just remember anytime I went there for like scouts or school, the park rangers would always just tell you about like animals shitting in the lake, and that's what's going to get you sick. You're going to get Hep B, you're going to get Giardia, you're going to get whatever. It wasn't necessarily associated to beavers. It was just like deer on the hillside with their shitty asses dumping into the lake.
Well, I love the suggestion that not only is this some sort of zombie virus, this is specifically a zombie beaver virus. Or
like it turns people into beaver hybrids.
So this begs the question of, one, is this just a virus that whatever gets it and transmits it, it turns that whoever receives it into a hybrid of that thing? So like if instead of beavers getting it, it was rabbits or whatever, and then it gave it to you, but then you become a hybrid rabbit. Or is it a specifically beaver-oriented disease, and it just was an insane coincidence that the first animal that showed signs of it was also a beaver?
But then, so it's beaver-specific toxic waste?
No, okay, so that's the thing. As the logical zombie aficionado here, okay. The toxic waste that they got splashed with, modified their DNA, and now it killed them, but also revived them.
Right.
And now because they bite someone, it modifies their DNA, therefore.
So the DNA matches the beaver DNA, but also with whatever this zombie
it's like a half thing.
So I think
I'll take it. That's more thought than the writers put into this entire fucking movie. So I'll take it.
The missing piece of this puzzle that we needed to see is because we see beaver human hybrids, and we also see a bear beaver hybrid. What we need, we needed to see is what happens if a human gets bit by the bear beaver hybrid. Do they get beaver traits only, or do they get bear beaver traits? So you have to see how that mutation plays out. You don't get the cross pollination. Yeah.
Does anybody have an answer as to why the bear beaver is credited as the Backstreet Boys? Does
they're
somebody have
stupid.
an answer
That's
for
why.
that? Because it's so confusing and dumb, and I don't know if it's just like they were fucking around when they
Just
made
fucking around.
the cast list, and we're like, we're just gonna put the Backstreet Boys
Wait,
here.
what happened?
The zombie bear beaver.
The bear beaver
Is credited as the Backstreet
If
Boys.
you look as the Backstreet Boys, I don't know why.
That's the least funny thing I've ever heard in my life. But
It's really stupid.
yeah, that's like you just took something that wouldn't even be topical in 2014 at all.
No.
And then go, what is a thing that people make fun of? And then I just say that thing when it's completely unrelated. Yeah. So then Buck becomes a hybrid beaver zombie as well. Promptly eats Smith's face off. Zoe locks herself in the bedroom of the neighbor woman, but she's in there. She's infected. She's transformed as well. So then Zoe just launches herself out the second or third floor window. Meanwhile, the beavers start tunneling up under the cabin, getting in that way, attacking Mary and Sam. They lock themselves in the bathroom, and then under the guise of wanting to check if the other one's been bitten, they start taking their clothes off. Apparently, this whole situation has been extremely arousing. They start banging. A beaver chews up an electrical cord outside, promptly torches itself, which was, I thought, kind of funny. This little beaver puppet just biting it, setting itself on fire, and then seeming pretty not perturbed by about its back being on fire, and then just walks over and sets the cabin drapes on fire.
The speed at which it just beelines for the curtains, just like there's no thought in its head. It seems like it was destined to just burn that cabin down. It's like, well, okay, I've caught myself on fire, and now I can enact phase 2, get the curtains.
Very smart beavers.
It does just kind of scuttle straight over to whatever would be most flammable in the area for sure.
But yeah, it just beelines for the curtains, like you said, and just like its intention is, all right, fuck it, I'm torching this place. Then in, what is, I can't say that there's a lot of scenarios where a zombie biting someone's dick off is predictable. But it does feel in this movie like it was coming.
Yeah.
It was going to happen to a character. And why shouldn't it happen to the cheating piece of shit who, in spite of the fact that his girlfriend has turned into a hybrid zombie and they've had to kill, have they killed her at this point? She's had to die because of this. Still chooses to try to have sex with her friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sam.
That's what happens. Just don't cheat. You get your dick bitten off by beavers.
Terrible human beings. God, they're awful. You just don't feel bad for anybody.
But that's fine.
Except the dog. I felt bad for
the dog. But on top of it all, this movie is from 2014, and that means we're already 4 years after Piranha 3D, where there's a much better dick biting scene in which you see the little dick float away and also get spit back up. It's way funnier.
And get spit back up again.
There's no prosthetic to this, because you can just see the effect is they threw a bunch of corn syrup on the front of his pants, and the beaver actress is just rubbing her face over it. But there's no prosthetic or effect to get that jump out of you. It's just he got his dick bit. Moving on.
Yeah, they did a little thing where they just hung a bunch of the what looked like the same kind of guts type of stuff that was hanging out of the beavers from the front of his pants. But it doesn't. We're not. Listen, if we're gonna bite somebody's dick off in a movie, I hate to be a stickler here, guys, but if we're gonna bite someone's dick off in a movie, let's be graphic about it.
Yeah,
you're doing. Let's not half-ass it.
And honestly, if you're going to do it with a beaver, you do it long ways, because that's the way you...
and not...
that's the way you always see beavers eat wood, in the cartoons.
Yeah.
So she has to come in at it sideways and just gnaw on it long ways and disconnect it that way.
Yeah.
Like she can't take
and
it
then
head
make that thing where it's like two pencil tips touching like in the middle, and then it
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spins it around, like a lathe. Like get creative with it.
Like
Just-
a pencil sharpener,
Right.
But not really.
Just dick chunks flying everywhere.
I mean, in a movie like this, they would track if they had the budget to do it. I think that actually would have played out much, much better than it did in this just quick, like sort of like yoink and like bite scene that they had. It was kind of a throwaway.
Yeah. That's going to be my one note. You know, if I do review this on like Amazon Prime, I'm definitely putting need more dick chunks.
Yeah, if you're gonna bite off a dick in a movie with zombie beavers, do it properly.
Yeah.
Commit.
That's not
Or
how
don't do it at all.
That's not how a zombie beaver would bite a dick.
No.
2 stars.
Someone really didn't think this one through. Come
Absolutely.
on now.
No. They went for the cheap and easy instead of like the artistic integrity of dick being bitten off by a zombie
Bring
beaver.
a beaver expert in. You know, have them draw some diagrams.
Excuse me, sir.
Bring a consultant.
Yeah.
How would a beaver bite off a dick? Tell me about
Yeah,
this.
that's it. I'm sure they'd walk you through it.
So all the neighbors are zombie beaver or human hybrids now. And then we get the bear, which is fun. It's a big beaver bear zombie.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, they get to the truck, start it up again, get jump scared by Jen. She's still alive. Not alive. She's a zombie beaver, human hybrid, but she's still active. Sam, slams the brakes, launches her out in front of the car, and then runs over her head with the truck. So that's, officially putting an end to zombie Jen. They get out to move on foot because they can't get past this tree. Same thing as before. And Mary suspects that Zoe has been, bit by one of the beavers and is going to turn. She's got a gun randomly from the glove compartment, and she's basically going to like, hey, I'm going to have to shoot you because we know you're going to turn. Zoe's like, no, I didn't get bit. This was because I threw myself out a window, yada, yada, yada. And then in another twist, which again, I did not expect and did not remember, Mary turns. And Zoe has to hack her up with the axe. So Zoe, at least up to this point, is the final girl. She's the survivor, the lone survivor. Which you would have thought early in this movie, she was definitely going to be the one to go. Because she was being mean to everybody, kind of being like crass and rude and saying vulgar shit and all that stuff. Meanwhile, the end scene, Zoe, the callback joke, she's limping down the road. She sees a truck coming down the road, trying to wave it down to help. And it's our old pal, John Mayer and Bill Burr.
John Mayer.
Our old pal, John Mayer.
That we're all friends. Right?
Yeah. He says, hey, do you see that girl up there? Bill Burr's, of course, texting on the phone, just like he was with the deer at the beginning, and smacks Zoe with the truck, presumably killing her. So we get a little callback from the opening joke. And that is the slap bang finish of 2014 Zombeavers.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I think this movie has a message, and it is don't text and drive.
Yeah.
No, maybe that is the message of the film. You know what? It's what causes all the problems at the beginning.
You know how hard it is to text with a T9 keyboard while you're
God.
driving? I cannot imagine.
That was a time. I can only imagine how hard it was at that point to be like texting.
Well, eventually
while
you
were-
remember. You're like 1, 2, 3, 1.
No, it's true. Yeah, you had like a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
To do it at a certain point.
Yeah, I often, it's been many years since I've held a flip phone,
Yeah.
but I'm sure if I dug around the drawers of my office, I would find an LG flip phone somewhere, a Nokia flip phone or something. I wonder if I would still have that muscle memory to be able to do the T9 texting.
I don't think I could do it anymore.
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
No, I think it would take. I think it would take a while of like remembering sort of like where like the MNO is and what like how many times you've got to click to get to the right letter. I think you'd have to.
I
work
remember
at it a
being
bit.
able to
After a
do
couple
it
of weeks,
like feeling like Jason Bourne, being able to do it while driving without looking down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you can put your hand in a pocket and text.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
was
used
the
to
beauty
be,
of it.
that was a
Not-
thing in class back in the day.
That's
You would just
it.
like be sitting there and you would just know, like, sort of it was underneath the desk and you would have an idea of how many clicks you needed to use to send a text.
It usually had a little nub on the 5 key, which was your center. So you could so you know every key you go from there, what it is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Oh man, what a throwback.
Here's the ultimate question. In addition to you know the message that we took from this movie, would you rather go back to having to do T9 texting, or get your genitals mutilated by a zombie beaver?
I think I would go back to T9 texting, because that means I'm also just not getting assaulted by whatever insanity is on, Threads and Instagram, and like I'm back in a safe space with a T9 phone, and I can just send like 1 or 2 texts a day. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, that's fair. People would probably say less stupid shit online if it's
100%.
T9 texting. There's just no time.
No, there's no time. You wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
And you'd have a screen, that was just like an inch big on either side to log on to the internet with, and it would like do a little dial-up thing when you were trying to connect and everything.
I'm just saying,
nobody would bother.
I have a theory. When people realize that you can watch porn on a phone, they start making big screens.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's probably how it happened.
Yep. And now we're used to it. I watched half of this movie on my phone on a tiny tiny little
there
screen.
you go.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on Zombeavers?
The defenestration stunt when Zoe goes through the window is pretty cool, and it's very Friday the 13th. That is a cool stunt,
yeah.
But otherwise, I don't know. If you've never seen the movie before, go watch it. I really hope I don't have to watch it a third time in my life.
Yeah, I think it might be kind of funny for like the absurdity that you're expecting from it on a first time watch. But I agree with Steve. I think on a second time watch, I was like, oh god, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And these characters are like deplorable. I can't. I hate everyone.
Also, we were watching it, and when they went into that lake, which was really more of a bog, we were like, what? I would never go.
Oh yeah, when the girls
water.
are on their little like raft at the beginning, and they're like, oh, let's go jump in the water. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's disgusting. Why the hell would you even try and go in there in the first place?
There's nature, but there's also don't go in this water type of thing.
It was green. It was awful.
Yeah, the stagnant pond scum covered water.
Yeah.
They're city folk. They don't know how to act out in the country. They don't know how to act. All right. Well, before we wrap up this here Minisode, a couple of things. First of all, thank you very much, Megan, Arthur, for joining us, for dealing with my constant technical issues, and for suggesting this fun little flick. And if you don't mind, one more time, remind the Boils and Ghouls at home where they can find the Gravetone podcast and anything else you're doing on the interwebs.
Of course. So you can find us on pretty much all social media platforms at Gravetone Pod. We're everywhere there, and we update pretty regularly with everything that we're doing. And we are also we also have a website at gravetonepod.com. All of the episodes of our podcast are archived there as well. And you can also find them on pretty much any podcast platform that you listen to. And we also have a fun little horror movie picker quiz there if anybody ever feels like going to check that out too. It's just a quick little quiz if you aren't sure what you want to watch tonight.
Yeah, and seriously, thank you so much for having us. This was really fun. Loved it. Love the way that you guys are doing the podcast with the Punisher movie and everything. That's really smart. So
yeah, it's a really fun format.
Yeah.
And Brian, if we ever get an opportunity to do another version of Larry Fest, I feel like if your movie had been in contention for this particular showdown, we would have had like a much bigger fight than we did by the end of it. I think we would have actually had to battle it out a little bit.
Yeah. Listen, I like that movie. I've wanted to watch it. I appreciate it. I get to keep that movie in the quiver for another episode, and well, maybe we will have another Larry Fest down the road. Although he doesn't have a ton of movies. I mean, I guess we could really take a lot of ones where he plays like smaller roles as performers and stuff. But We weirdly enough too, it's one of those ones where like we've done a decent amount of Larry Fessenden movies in other topics, so then that takes those off the table. And but I'm always willing to dig a little deep on our boy Larry. All right, well, once again, thank you. We appreciate you joining us. And one quick reminder, if you've got suggestions, I know we've got some ones in mind already, but we're gonna have Antonio back. We're going to talk about the best of Vincent Price. If you've got suggestions for the April Showdown episode, Vincent Price movies you want us to consider, don't hesitate to slide on into the old DMs on the social medias. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate your time this fine evening. And listen, if Zombeavers 2 ever gets that green light, you're gonna be required to come back and talk about it live with us.
Love it.
I think it'll be an obligation at that point.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, for the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
Steve.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Megan.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Bye.